Hi, my name is Corey Olson. I'm owner and CEO of Infuzion Solutions. And today we're going to give you a sneak peek on our new wine and spirits solution built on Business Central. We've been in the Microsoft channel for over 20 years. We're located in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we specialize in creative solutions throughout the whole Microsoft stack. We specialize in distribution, not-for-profit, higher education, and healthcare, but we have a tailored solution for wine and spirits wholesalers. Up to now, that's been built on Microsoft Dynamics GP. We work with over 20 wine and spirits distributors across the U.S., and we offer consulting services on business processes, integration services, Power Platform development, and of course support both Microsoft Dynamics GP and now Business Central. Today, I'm really excited to show you some sneak peeks in this new solution we built that leverages the best of Business Central, 365 Wine Trade, and some custom solutions we have added for integrations, reporting, and other things that meet the needs of our wine and spirits wholesalers. I'm really excited to show you this new feature today. I hope you enjoy it. So today we're going over credit holds and order review. This typically happens in most distributors throughout the day, but specifically towards the end of the night. There are really two types of holds that we're going to review today in the system. A credit class hold, which is more something is going on with the customer itself. So that could be a state license issue. That could be because it's a new customer and you don't want to allow any orders to go through. It could be because the customer is past due on a certain balance, and we want to make sure that everything for that customer is held up. That credit class hold will put all existing orders on hold, and I'll show you how that works today. The other kind of hold that we're going to review is what we call order review categories. These are holds that apply specifically to different orders based on criteria. So this is going to be like minimum order hold, over credit limit hold. It could be because it's a certain order type for some of you that do bill and holds, where you want to hold those up and review them all at once. All of those are what we're going to call order review category holds, and we'll go through that today. So on my screen here, I'm in Business Central with our 365 Wine Trade and Infuzion Customs for Wine and Spirits. I'm going to go under my 365 Wine Trade menu, and I'm going to go to my Setup and Orders Review categories. In here, you can group different checks, things that you want the system to check on orders as orders come in. And then we can assign different orders types to use these checks. So as an example, I'm going to go into my sales. So for all regular orders, I want the system to perform some criteria checks to see if this order should go on hold or not. In here, I have just kind of the layout of this window. Allows me to name this. This is user definable, so you get to name that. And of course, we'll help you set these up as we get started based on your criteria of processes that your organization does. Down here, we have several review types. We're going to review this list that are pre-made, ready-to-go checks that you can select on how your organization wants to review those orders. Then I can name what kind of order that those should be listed in. It's going to go through every single check. It's not like it gets to one and stops. So if a order meets multiple criteria, all of those will be listed, but this is the order that it will be listed in the hold window, so you can see what this order applied to on which holds. Review notification, we have review, warning, and stop. Really, for Infuzion customers, this is going to be review only. We don't allow order entry in the back office system. Right now, everything is entered through Pocket Advantage, and we'll continue that through phase one. Later in the future, we might roll out, we hope to roll out order entry for back office users inside of Business Central. If so, then these two will come into play, which is when a user is entering the order, it can pop up a warning message or stop them from releasing that order. But for now, all of those will be set to review. If you chose warning or stop, then this message is what will pop up to a user. We'll use amount in some of these review types, and I'll go over that in a second. And this comment is just an internal note, so it doesn't show anywhere. It doesn't follow it through. It's just for the setup. If someone's like, why do we have that in there? You can make a comment to that. So I'm not going to go through all of this list. One thing we've done, we've tried to do on this new solution that we're building is really make an intensive manual for each process. So within our manual, you'll see a list of each one of these and kind of definition. But I want to just highlight a few that I think are most commonly used. This first one, credit review, will do all three of the next checks. Or you can just use one or two of these individually. So overdue balance means any balance overdue. So this isn't the same as some of you that use a past due balance, which is like when it's past due more than 30 days. This is overdue, meaning any balance is over its due date. Over credit limit sounds just like it is. Credit hold needs to be on this order type in order for the credit class that we talked about earlier. So something we want to put on hold at the customer, this is an order that we want to be able to hold based off of that change at the customer. So if we choose that, then that'll be an order that gets put on hold for this customer as well. Order minimum, this is 365 Wine Trade's base order minimum, which is specific to every single order, not the combination of orders that are going to be shipped on the ship date. They added that for us in order minimum combo. Order minimum combo takes for a customer all orders that are going for a certain ship date and then looks at an amount based on the customer's posting group. Now, the customer's posting group is a similar grouping to what you have in Infuzion now under classes. So that's your on-premise, your off-premise, maybe off-premise grocery, off-premise package store. You have a minimum amount you can set different for each one of those classes. So based on that, then it would hold those orders. When another order comes in that allows that to get over the minimum, it will automatically remove the hold for you on any previous orders that were entered into the system. These other sales type, these are check boxes on the order type, which is a window we're going to visit next. If any of these are checked, then you can say, hey, I want to hold those up. So if you want to look at samples and not just have them automatically go through, those are great ways to do that. Some stuff that doesn't really apply to us for right now. This one's kind of neat. Item review. You can mark an item in the item card to say anytime it's on an order, I want it to be held up and reviewed. So you do have allocations. We're going to do a separate training session on that. But some people have highly allocated items that they're kind of moving inventory around, and they'd like that to be held up instead of just automatically shipped through. So this would be a good way to do that. Unit price 0 or unit price not 0. This is great for some states that we have where they're not allowed to ship stuff at 0. They have to ship their free goods or samples or other things at a penny. Again, you can apply that, and you can apply that to different order types. So again, this is my regular sales orders, but I can have one just for samples, and I can change this credit hold of what it should be reviewing. One thing we're going to get into in the future in another session is about how you can set samples and salesperson budgets to samples. And so then you can have the order held up. Again, this would probably be applicable to sample type holds if that salesperson was over their sample budget. So another really neat feature. And then, of course, we have lots of interaction with state liquor license authorities. So that's SLA. I'm going to show you one window for our credit class hold that works within there as well. So, of course, fully integrated for some of you that do integrate back and forth with your states in liquor license authority, or as you change manually license information from information you might be emailed from your state, you can automatically put holds on orders as well. So once I've set, hey, these are the types of holds that I want to review. In this case, I'm doing a credit hold, which is that credit class. I'm doing credit limit, and I'm doing an order minimum combo check. So I'm going to assign this now. The next thing is to assign it to my order type. So I'm going to go into my order types. This is very similar to how we use doc IDs in our Infuzion solution now in sales order processing, where different document types, regular orders, samples, rush, might be separated in order to control workflow differences. In addition, order types, which we'll revisit this order types in several different trainings, also define things such as whether DA should be calculated, whether bill back should be calculated, that's their terminology for samples, whether it is a sample, whether it's a bill and hold, and how we're going to handle those bill and holds, whether this order type should release back orders, should it be repriced. So all of these things are kind of intertwined with the type of order it is. So I have a regular order type here as my sale. It's defaulting to my my only warehouse that I have. And I'm doing my order review category of sales. So again, if I take a peek at that, that's all of the credit checks that we just set. So every time an order type that it meets this criteria comes in, it's going to review these different holds for the customer to see if it qualifies in order for those holds to be applied. So as the order comes in, it can be doing those checks. Another process we talked about is once if something's more at my customer level, an issue with my customer, and I want to hold all orders, not just this specific type of order, but any orders for that customer in the future and what exists. So those are done through credit classes. So I'm going to go under my 365 wine trade menu, and I'm going to go into credit and credit classes. Here is where I can define the different names for my credit classes, as well as I can say, do I want to hold that credit class? Do I want to allow a manual override? Now, why wouldn't I want to allow a manual override? If you have an automatic integration with your state liquor association, you might not want to allow a user to override that. So again, that's another option in the system. And then if I want the payment term to change. So as an example, maybe when I'm doing past dues, I want to automatically change to COD in that process. So again, totally up to you as to how you want to handle that process. So once I've set those up, again, one thing we will be adding is a job that will run for, X number of days past due, which will change the customer's credit class to something like this past due internal. And then it could change their payment term and put them on hold into that process. Another thing you can do, again, is set up that to work with your state liquor association. So I'm going to go to my 365 wine trade menu again under state liquor authority, and then go under license type. And here I can set different license types to have a credit class hold. So as an example, as I change a customer to an out of business license type, it'll automatically put that customer on a license hold. And as long as on all of my different types of orders that I have look to the credit review, then it will always go back and look at that, or credit hold, excuse me. It will always go back and look at that customer to see if they're on a credit class hold. So now that we kind of have our hold set up, let's see how this works on orders. So I'm going to go into my sales and under my sales orders to get to my sales order list. From here, I can see all of my open orders in the system. I'm going to close my fact box just for now, and then we'll open it here in just a minute. I'm going to filter on my customer number just so we can see this happen with one specific customer. So I'm going to go into my Corey's Wine and Spirits, very unique naming that I came up with there. And we can see on, these are all the open orders that I have for this customer in the system. There are some here that are in a status of open, some that are in a status of released and approved. And there might be some, even though I don't have any showing right now, that would show open and pending. So what do those statuses mean? Open means it hasn't been released to the system. Now, in our world, what will happen as orders import from Pocket Advantage, they will automatically be released. So it's unlikely you'll see a lot here that are just open and not in any kind of review status. The next status is if there is a hold being that is on this order, you're going to see the status to say open and pending review. So that means somebody needs to approve the order before the order is ready to be shipped. The next status when somebody approves it is that it goes to released and approved. If I click on this line and hit my fact box, I can see that this customer had some issues here. So we had some orders that went into an overdue balance. I had a credit hold. And I had an order minimum combination issue. And then I can see who has approved this order for from the hold to release and the date and time that they did so. Now let's look at this customer. I'm going to scroll down again, just on my fact box, right off my order list. If you drill into the order, you're going to see the exact same fact box. So I can see it from my list of open orders, or I can drill into the order itself. From here, I get a lot of great information about this customer, and almost everything on this list can be drilled back to more information. So here I see right away the balance of my customer, outstanding orders, outstanding invoices. I can see their payments. I get a total. I see my credit limit, and if I look down here, it tells me my available credit limit. So I have $2,000 left in order until it starts hitting the credit limit, exceeding that. So let's drill into this customer, and I can just do that by clicking on the customer number. And we're first going to look at the credit class hold. So I'm going to go down. This is my customer card. And I'm going to go down a little ways here. And again, all of this is customizable through personalization in order to move your fields around appropriately. So right now, this customer is on an off hold, meaning it's not on any kind of credit class hold, a regular. You can name that really anything you want. I'm going to change this to say that this is a new customer. And the reason I'm doing this is I have a payment term set up. So I want to show you what happens. So when I go to this hold and I change this, you can see now the payment terms for this customer changed to COD. Over on the right-hand side, I can see the previous credit class code that this customer was on and the previous payment terms. So when I switch that back, it will then change back my terms if I want it to do so. So let's see what happened to my orders by making that change. I'm going to just hit my back arrow and I'm back to my sales order list that I was in before. Notice that the lines that said released and approved now say open and pending, because now the approval that was there is being revoked because this customer has now been put on hold. And you can see here the credit hold has removed any approval because now it's ready to be approved again. If I look to the side here on payment terms, you can see that all of my orders have been changed to COD. Now, why didn't this one change? This one, if I look at this order and go over, is a different type of order. So these were sales and regular, and this one is my bill and hold ship order type. I didn't have associated the credit hold as a check with this type of order. And mostly probably because I'm shipping bill and holds that the customer already paid for. So in this case, then again, I could approve individual orders if I wanted it to allow it to go, Or I'm going to go back just so we can see what happens. Let's say whatever was wrong with the customer was resolved. So I'm just going to go down here back to my credit class hold. And I'm going to change this back to off hold. When I do so, the terms that were previously there are copied back over. So now I am back to net 15. Of course, you could change that at this point in time if you do want to leave the customer at COD. So I'm going to go back. And now if I look at my orders, they are back all to net 15. And notice now they're all back to approved. I didn't have to go back and individually approve the ones that were already on hold. Because the credit class changed to an allowable, it no longer met the criteria, even though it had already went through approval. So pretty cool, we feel like, an easy way for people to manage that. The same happens when we talk about order criteria. So minimum orders, orders over credit limit as an example. So let's do that with this customer on our credit limit process. So I have $20,000 credit limit. I have already a total of $17,000. So I only have $2,779 as a credit limit. So I'm going to go into this customer and I'm going to change my credit limit to below the number of orders that are there. So I'm going to hit my edit. Up here in the screen is the credit limit field. And I'm going to change this to $15,000. Now, when I do so, let me go back. Sorry, clicked a little too much here. Actually, I'm going to change this to $5,000. Either would be great. Now, when I do so, notice right away I get a visual indicator that read in italicized. So that immediately is telling me that something is wrong with this customer and their credit limit. Now, it's not just because I'm changing this customer. If you go to anybody's customer card and they are over their credit limit, it's going to show up in red and italicized. So let's go back now and let's look at my orders. So again, all of these order types, except this bill and hold ship, because I don't have bill and hold ship orders being reviewed based on credit limit, because again, the bill and hold actually already was posted, the bill and hold sales. We'll do another training on bill and holds. But here, I now have these back to pending, meaning that they need to be reviewed. And as you can see here, my over credit limit has been revoked because the credit limit amount has changed. The opposite is true as well. So if I go back to my customer, and again, you can see the negative that I have in there. And let's say after I started to review this customer, wow, that's way too low a credit limit for this customer. I need to move that back. As I tab off that field and go backwards, then automatically any of those orders that were approved or were pending are now approved. So a really great interaction that the system tries to be smart about changes you're making on the customer, changes you're making on credit limits or with minimum orders or things that might be happening in the system that someone needs to review. If an order, all of a sudden a customer is not past due because the balance gets resolved, those kind of things, except for our past due over 30 days, which only runs through that check so many times a day. So again, depending on those things, most of the credit reviews that we went over will reevaluate as your customer and order changes as well. Now, as you get through the night, the last kind of step before you turn over to end of night process and cut off for your day is really to make sure you review all of the orders that are on hold. Now, in Infuzion currently, you would do that through Smart List, and you can do that through MBC, very similar. So I've set up a list view here for any that are pending review. So on here, it's all the customers that still have some kind of hold applied. So I can look at it this way. I can work this order by order, but I'm going to show you two additional windows that are options within our Business Central Infuzion solution that I think are really spectacular and add some ease to reviewing these orders. So if I wanted, by the way, to look at this order by order, just like we've been doing, fact box, this will show me what is wrong with each one. And from here, I can individually approve the order, or I can highlight multiple here. I could highlight all of them and go to approve all of the orders in the system. So real nice feature there that you can't do currently in our solution, but this will approve all of the different order holds. So maybe an option, but maybe you want to do a little more order by order, which you can do as well. But there's two other windows. First of all, this is controlled by a certain level of security. So within here, I'm going to go to Business Central's window called User Setup. This is where you can set some features for each user in your system. And one of those is to do a sales order review, a window, or a sales order credit approver. So either of these will say that that person can approve through those windows. There's two windows, both show a little different information for what might be easier to review some of these holds. My favorite window is the first one we're going to go to, which is the credit review window. So I'm going to go under my 365 wine trade menu, and I'm going to go to credit. Now, the first thing you get to do is define what you want to see in this window. So very similar to the way we would do in Smart List now is to show all these hold types, because maybe I only care about overdue balances, or show only these hold types because maybe I only care about looking at all minimum orders. So it's a very similar process into this credit review parameters window. This window does not impact anything to do with what's being on hold. That's the other setup we already did through the credit class or through the order review categories. That's determining what's on hold. This is determining how I want to separate to look at those on holds in the next window. So you can set different criterias. So I might want to say, I just want to see the past due hold credit class, those that are being manually held right now. Maybe I held up my bill and holds, etc. I also made one just for pending for all holds. So again, just like you would in your Smart List now, to say maybe just anything on hold. When I go to my credit review window, then I can pick which of these criteria do I want to zero in and focus on. So in this case, I'm just going to look at all of those that are pending any kind of hold. This shipment date is going to show me anything on this shipment date or before. So again, hopefully you don't have past orders hanging out there past their shipment date, because those are never going to get shipped. So again, you might have something like we went over in our last session about end of night, where we move forward anything left on hold to the next shipment date. So we avoid any hanger-oners that are old and out there. But regardless, this will show us everything out there in the system through the shipment date, but won't show us any future orders yet. This window is organized by customer. So if I look at this customer and look down here, I can see the orders in the system. So this customer, as an example, my West End Liquor, has 2 different orders in the system. I can drill in and view the document from here if I want to go directly to that order. This window is packed full of information to help you evaluate credit type concerns. So here in this columns next to the customer, and remember, all of this can be customized through personalization to remove columns, to change the order of your columns, and that stays with your user. So over here, I can see my credit limit, what the balance is, outstanding orders, overdue amounts. I can see who the salesperson is, the AR salesperson to that customer. I can see what credit class they're on, what their liquor license information is. Over here to the right, I get the same fact box that I looked at on the order. So again, a nice summary over here in the fact box as well. In addition to all of that great information, I can then run a lot of different reports. The customer order summary, aged receivable. I can look at just all sorts of information related to this customer. Pretty much any report that you would be able to access off of the customer card, you can access here. So plenty of great information that will allow me to drill into more information. In addition to that, anything where you see this kind of light blue information means that I can drill into details without running any report. And it's going to open to me a window of some kind of list that I will be able to filter, to take to a pivot, to do any of those options. So just a plethora of information here as I evaluate, should this customer really have this order when they have some overdue amounts? So again, if that's something you would like to review. Now from here, then I can look at these orders and I can select all the orders and all I did was hit my control button and click my arrow. And I can click all of them if I had more than just a couple. And I can hit approve. And by doing that, the orders then will release and go off of the process. So it'll approve all of the different holds that it's on. So really nice, easy way to kind of take it customer by customer to really review that. As you approve, then you can update this window and it will then refresh and get that person off of the list. So you can kind of whittle down your changes as they happen. Now there's one more window that's kind of a different approach. So this one is great, I think, for anything related to balances and credit issues, which is a majority of what people are really evaluating. But you might also want to look at it order by order in kind of a grouped fashion. So to do that, I can go to my 365 Wine Trade and go to accounts receivable and look at the sales order review window. Very similar to the credit review window, I have the ability to narrow down what I want to see in that window. So that's the sales order review parameters. Once I go here, I get to name and set different criteria for what I would like to see in that window. Again, I've also set up one as pending. This one is probably best not for credit issues, but maybe for like license issues, things that might be going wrong with the customer or itself. So overall credit class holds would be great here. Any kind of order type may be issue that needs to be reviewed first, like samples or something like that, versus things related to credit issues or balances due. Once I've defined that, then I can go into my sales order review window. And when I do that, I can pick then what kind of limit of the orders that I want to see. In this case, I'm seeing everything that's pending. I can choose to see the same things, the credit, if they have a credit hold as well, not just order type review holds too. So I can get a good picture of everything that this customer has on hold. Now this window is laid out very differently. So this window is laid out by order, not by customer. And then as I click on this order, I get a nice sneak peek of all of the items down here that are on that order. So again, this is a great window, not having to drill into each order to see what's on the order. If I was trying to review samples or trying to review something related maybe to bill and holds, etc. The only negative to this window is that you are still approving order by order. So here is where I would review and approve this order. So I am approving order by order. In the other window, I got to kind of approve by customer, but you can review it here, go back to my sales order list, and I can also mass approve there through my filter as well. So you do have several options depending on the scenario that maybe you are handling and how your reviews work. The largest, what we hope you see out of this, our largest goal today, is that you have a lot of options to manage holds. a lot of these holds we already had, of course. They have 365 Wine Trade has provided even more holds than we offered in our infusion solution. But the same holds will be available. But what I love most about this is that it's very visible for you to turn on and to turn off, and also to limit which ones you want on what type of orders, which is really nice. Again, that's a lot of stuff that we do now in the backside versus you having the visibility of that as the end customer. In addition to that, you can see there's several great ways that add a lot more functionality in the way that you're able to review those orders and really make intelligent decisions, right? That's our goal. How can I make intelligent decisions to let this order go or not go, and to give you all the information possible at your fingertips. So I hope you've enjoyed our kind of tour of order holds and credit holds, and I hope you've gotten a better vision of what that looks like in our new Infuzion BC solution. If you liked what you saw here today and want more information on next steps, or to see more about our wine and spirits solution on Business Central, please email us at info@infuzion.com, give us a call with the number on the screen, or visit our website, infuzion.com. Check out the Wine and Spirits resource page where you can see other features that we've released for preview as well. Thanks.